Ladies and gentlemen, oh boy. On today's episode, the 11th episode of the Lamont Tyson YouTube TikTok Life Games podcast, a bombshell was dropped in the comedic entertainment world by my guy, Katt Williams. And when I say a bombshell, he didn't come for folks' neck, he came for their whole soul. And we're going to discuss that in this video.
I'm up early for the dealers come out. Everybody is outside till the killers come out. You ain't eating, you just act full. I'm impactful. Dozen funerals in a month. I got that pull. I will give it to niggas in all rap forms. Ignatius out right now on all platforms.
What's happening, everybody? You in the building with y'all knowing, all loving, all feeling, all seeing, all powerful. Damn all everything. The sexiest hell host of this channel. It's me, Lamont Tyson. And we are here to drop you guys the best in Black entertainment news and, of course, more that's outside the Black entertainment culture. And joining me in a few minutes, we're going to have a bunch of guests to discuss what's going on in this situation. And here's the first of the many guests today. It's the homie Muchella who hang with the fellas. Y'all know her as the Hammer, writer, creator. Keep her ears to the streets. Moochie, what's up?
What's up? Hey, everybody.
I know we're a little early, folks, but you know, schedules happen and you got to be early sometimes. So we in here early and we got a lot to discuss today. And in a few minutes, we're going to have my main man. Y'all know him. Then we're going to have my cousin from Atlanta. She's going to be joined too. But before we get going, let me just get all the housekeeping work done. Please subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to Moochie's channel. Get on the podcast, y'all. Link is in the video description. You can find us on TikTok as well. Link is in the video description. And a big shout out to all my subscribers. Man, y'all have shown up in droves this year. While I am trying to do what I can to climb the ladder of Hollywood, and all Katt Williams did was say a lot of what I've been saying and what Moochie has been saying. You guys have shown me so much support in growing my YouTube channel. I have now crossed 170,000 subscribers. And for that, I just can say thank you guys so much. It takes being authentic, being true to who you are to grow your channel and having, at the very least, decent content to grow. And I'm very happy that you guys have taken this ride with me. And there's going to be a whole lot more to come. Moochie, Moochie, Moochie. Whew. I opened this thing up by saying he ain't come for the neck, Katt Williams. He came for the soul of comedians and the future souls of comedians. And I've got a couple of clips that are near and dear to my heart that we're going to talk about. But before we get into it, I want to hear Moochie. What are your thoughts, initial thoughts about what Katt Williams said about the industry and him being blackballed and how he was blackballed?
I'm glad he spoke up because they did him dirty. Like he said, he opened the door and cracked the door for the world to see years ago, and people tried to dismiss him.
Right.
But now it's like, see, I told y'all I wasn't lying. It's a lot of people that's being discovered not liars now. Mm-hmm. You know, they had him arrested and all of that. And it was called out. It was called out, and Professor Griff showed us what was called out, and then Professor Griff showed us what to watch. Watch what happens to him. And he saw what happened to him. And he was playing, he was telling the truth about everything, and everybody is about to be exposed. Between 2023 and 2024, y'all thought 2023 people was getting exposed. Watch what happened this year, y'all.
Now, Moochie, the weird thing is, since me and you have been doing this show, we have talked about the things you have to go through in Hollywood to make it. And we just said Tuesday, it just comes down to what you are willing to tolerate. And Katt Williams had a certain level of integrity and a line that he wasn't going to cross. And didn't I just say that Tuesday without even knowing this was going to come out with Katt Williams?
Yeah. You was just talking about it. Yes, you've been talking about it. You've been giving us a glimpse for the past couple since you've been doing your Hollywood thing. You
Yep.
be telling us stuff behind
Right.
doors, and you say
Right.
facts on your own platform. So yeah,
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we roll on Katt Williams, another special guest joining. Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen. The living legend. Yes, he's a living fucking legend. His name ain't just Larry, it's Larry Living Legend. He's in the building. What's going on, Larry?
How you guys doing, man? Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year,
Man,
brother. We
happy
we
New Year,
are
Larry.
here. We are here and we ready to get this conversation going.
it
First
is
thing
good to
we're
see
gonna
you
do,
guys. It's
ladies.
been a long time.
Yeah, well, us three, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I miss y'all. Like I miss the group.
Yeah. Well, who said that the Jackson Five won't gonna never get back together? Damn it, we back. Well,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, let me get on to my guy Katt Williams. Now, I must be honest with y'all. I'm a little biased. And I say I'm a little biased because when you ask me who are my top 5 comedians, you've always heard me say Katt Williams and Martin. And that's it.
Mm.
And as we get into what Katt Williams broke down on the Shannon Sharpe show, yes, Shay Shay, Club Shay Shay, all I can say is, damn if Katt didn't have Shannon Sharpe looking like Master Splinter. Quiet as fuck, scared as fuck, all kinds of things. Because he dropped nuclear bombs that was, for the most part, in terms of what it takes to get into Hollywood, he dropped nothing but the truth. And now we're going to go through about 3 clips. Credit to the Club Shay Shay podcast. You guys go check them out. And we're going to break them down piece by piece. And Larry, after we watch this clip, you can jump in on the first part of your reaction to what he had to say. Here we
All
go.
right.
And the reason I had to come is because you've made a safe place for the truth to be told. You know what I mean?
Thank you. I appreciate
and
that.
I have watched all of these lowbrow comedians come here and disrespect you in your face and tell you straight up lies. I'm talking about things that have never been heard in all of Black Hollywood. They feel comfortable sitting here and lying to you about it.
You gonna set the record straight?
Are you kidding me? You let Ricky Smiley sit here and you said out that mouth, you stole Friday After Next, the one I was in. I wish all of America fumbled a bit when that happened. And then he said some stuff that we haven't heard in 100 years in Hollywood. You ain't say nothing. This man told you he had Katt Williams' role. He was gonna be Money Mike.
Wait.
And Katt Williams was gonna be the Santa Claus. Now 3 quick points.
3 quick.
You mean in Hollywood they cast a 5'5" black Santa Claus that weigh 145 pounds? That's your story. Your story is the Ricky Smiley that couldn't even do curse words because he had a Christian fan base. He was gonna play the pimp. Why you didn't ask him why has he played a woman in more movies than he's played a man?
Well, I didn't know
He shouldn't be able, you wouldn't let a athlete that been on steroids talk about one of the greats. Ricky Smiley can't act because Ricky Smiley can't act. He told you the story about when the movie came out. Where did he say he watched it? At home. He wasn't even at the premiere. You telling this man, you stole that. Oh, so he could get his name in the same sentence with a great one. It is sad. He was just that bitter when we were shooting it. He told everybody, it should have been my role. Everybody on the scene. Why do you think no cast member has ever said anything?
he couldn't have played that role like you. I thought he was.
Sir, no one, why no, he was with KD? He beat up Terry Crews. Why nobody know this story? You talking about in Hollywood, they switched off roles. You take this and he, what?
So
Ricky Smiley knows this. It's because, well, why would he lie? I don't know why liars lie. But I can tell you this. We auditioned in Los Angeles.
Yes.
I was audition number 201. 200 black comedians auditioned for the role of Money Mike with me. You're saying all 201 of us was auditioning and you had already had the role and had already shot the role in 4 days? The truth of the matter is, the Money Mike in the original script got raped in the bathroom, and that's what Ricky Smiley was okay with.
Mm.
Yikes, man.
Larry. Everybody in the comments is holding their breath with what you might say. Go on ahead and drop us some dimes on what you think about this Katt Williams situation.
I want to say one thing overall about this whole thing with Club Shay Shay and a lot of the stuff that Black Hollywood has been coming out and talking about and revealing lately, because there's been a lot of stuff with them coming out and just talking about the conditions overall in Hollywood. I think as bad as it is that we're hearing about some of the things coming out, I think it's good now that these actors and comedians that are able to come out and actually say what's going on and feel comfortable enough and safe enough to know that they're still going to be able to work afterwards. Because for a long time in Hollywood, the way that they were able to continue to do a lot of the terrible things that were done is by blacklisting people, by simply saying, if you reveal the horribleness of Hollywood, you will be blacklisted. You either talk positive or you say nothing. And now people are able to actually say some of the terrible stuff out loud and feel comfortable that they're still going to be able to work. Now, these are people who are established, because you can't just come out as some brand new actor or actress and start talking smack, because you will still get blacklisted. But if you have a fan base, if you're Katt Williams, Hollywood could say, we're going to ban you, and you can just go on your social media platforms and tell everybody where your shows are and book your own arenas and your own stadiums and then do your thing and be fine. So overall, I think it's fantastic that people are actually speaking up. But I don't just like Katt Williams said, I don't know why liars lie. Some people just lie and tell stories, especially stories that are easily verifiable. It's like,
Right.
Why do that? Like, why do
Larry,
that?
I'm going to tell you why liars lie. Because people believe the shit. Who's one of the biggest worldwide liars? The global liar, Donald Trump. Even though you can verify most of his damn lies, people just believe the liar because they don't want to believe the truth. Sorry to step on your back to you.
Well, they do say, like, there have been psychologists. I don't remember what the phenomenon is called, but they do say if you tell a lie enough times, that people will believe it, even though they know it's not true. But if you repeat it constantly and you just hold fast to that lie, people will believe it, including the liar. They will start to believe that it's true. And I guess that's what some people do. It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, if I sat up there and told a lie that Lamont is really single and doesn't have any kids and just rented his babies for Instagram fame, everybody would know that's a damn lie. I mean, I don't understand why people tell lies that are just so, so verifiable. It makes no sense.
Muchella, who hang with the fellas, jump on in here about Katt Williams. What you got to say about that first piece?
I'm cool. Like I said before, I'm glad the truth is coming out. They did take jokes from him. He verified this before. Don't get me wrong, I love Cedric the Entertainer too. But right is right. If you did it, I would be mad. Look, we talk about people stealing stuff all the time. So
YouTube content.
Exactly. We talk about that all the time. So, if I put in my hard work to put up something and somebody gonna take it because they got more subscribers than me and do all of that, of course I'm gonna be mad. Of course I'm gonna have a beef. Of course I'm gonna want to speak out because I know this was my thing and you took it. So yeah, I believe him. I'm glad that he's finally getting his. I'm glad Katt Williams is finally getting his moment because he let you know, look, I'm not gonna bend down to these rules. I'm not gonna bend the knee, but I'm gonna still do my thing. And you guys will see later. And look at what's happening.
You know what's interesting is that I know he's complaining about people stealing jokes, and it's sort of a regular thing. I don't think that's something unique to black comedians. Apparently, that's just something that's rampant throughout the whole comedic world, is that other comedians will steal jokes, especially if you are a lesser known comedian, they will steal, other bigger comedians will steal your jokes, If you go to a comedy club and you have a real good set and a good joke in there, and some big comedians watching in the crowd, they may take it and steal your joke and run with it and go on their show or on their tour or on some talk show and do it. And everyone's gonna think that was their joke because you don't have the platform, Now,
Right.
if you went on Conan O'Brien's show and did the joke, and then 2 weeks later, you see Jamie Foxx or Kevin Hart doing the joke, they're gonna be like, wait a minute, we just saw somebody else do the joke. But if you do it the other way around, you can't tell that joke, have Kevin Hart go on to Conan O'Brien, do that same joke, and then you go back to the club and do it. Though everybody's gonna be like, why'd you steal Kevin Hart's joke? And you'll be like, that was my joke, but no one's gonna believe you.
Right. And Larry, it doesn't just, that same concept of stealing things from lesser known individuals, it don't just happen in comedy. You and Moochie have heard my story about how me and my wife were doing a nonprofit with our daycare we owned. And we came up with a whole family nonprofit plan similar to the Harlem Children's Zone, but only for Greensboro, North Carolina. And we presented it to the powers to be. They told us we was going to get $250,000 to implement it. Then instead of giving it to us, they gave it to a bigger known entity. And when we went in there to say what the hell happened, they told us, aren't you just happy that we're going to be able to help people? Wow. No, we want to be helping the people too. Why did you tell us you was going to give this to us? And then when you give our plan to somebody else, got the nerve to act like we the ones that's in the wrong. Yeah. And to comedians that are known for stealing jokes, this gets on my nerves. And you can ask my wife. I talk about this woman all the time. Amy Schumer from Canada. This bitch steals jokes and talks about her pussy all the time. And for whatever the reason, Hollywood just keeps pushing her up for that.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Look at who she is. Look at what she is. Look, read between the lines. Y'all know what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I get it. Okay. Well, Moochie, another clip from Katt and the Club Shay Shay, and you get first dibs on the comments after this one, boys. Whew. This was gonna hurt some church folks. That's all I'm gonna say.
Cedric did the same thing. Cedric told you when you asked him, did you steal Cat Williams' joke? Yeah. He said, it don't line up. How it don't line up that I did it on TV in 2018? You came to see me at the Comedy Store do it in 2019 and then did it on the Kings of Comedy. Like, what doesn't line up? This is a televised joke that Mark Curry helped me punch up and get to the level that it was. The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. Now Steve got a sitcom where he the principal and he wear a suit and then he gets this high top fade, making all black men think he got the best lineup in the business. And it's a man unit. Then you asked it, why you not a movie star? I didn't want to be a movie star. This the same Negro that hated on Bernie with this same thing. I didn't want to be a movie star. No, you couldn't be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asks for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good Oba-Kaby and look like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't none. You would have to have range. I played a lot of characters, 60 movie roles. I'm not playing Cat Williams in there.
I don't know, Cat. We might not let you drink anymore the way you. I mean, we ain't even got.
I'm not fueled by alcohol. I've had a sip, less than you.
See, that's what I'm talking about. The rawness with Katt. The rawness with Katt. He don't care. He gonna tell the truth. And he don't care who like it. He don't care how it come out. He don't care who it hurt. I'm glad he look. Everybody knows Steve was wearing them wigs. Wiggy wig. Everybody know.
Yeah.
Everybody know he stole from Mark Curry. Everybody knows all of this.
Moochie,
Everybody
a
knows
lot
he
of people,
stole that from there. No, the younger people don't know. The
right?
younger people that's watching now, that they don't know all of this. But
Yeah.
people that season like myself and other people that's in the chat, they know what it is.
Yeah.
They blackball this man, and I hope he gets everything as far as money wise and fortune wise coming to him because it's well overdue.
Yeah.
Hey, he might decide to hook up with me and my scripts, Mooch, and then we ride to the top together. I don't know. I'm just saying,
Mhm.
put it out there in the universe, see what happened. Larry, what you
And
got on this second segment? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Moochie.
I was gonna say, RC mentioned it. Everybody fails to talk about Paul Mooney. Paul Mooney wrote on so many shows, and they don't count him. He's one of the kings in my eyes because he's unapologetic about what he say too. He don't give a damn. I seen Paul Mooney
Mm.
do stuff, and people don't get up and walked out because they don't like where the train is going. Don't get me wrong. He got his moments. I know you are disagreeing with me, Larry, but sometimes he got his moments where he say the truth and put it out there.
I
Sometimes you look at him like weird, but then they did that whole thing with the Richard Pryor thing to tarnish his image. Like I said, any black man that leaves Hollywood, well, I didn't say it. I'll say who said it. Any black man that leaves Hollywood always has an asterisk. They never leave the game unscathed. So you
I'm not.
watching it happen right now with Puffy. You watching it happen right now.
Yeah. See, this is the thing. I love some of Paul Mooney's jokes and his commentary, but sometimes it's hard to separate the artist from the art because the man was a diddler, and that's one of those things that I just can't tolerate. You
What's a
can't mess
diddler? I don't know what that is.
a pedophile. He's diddling little kids.
They
I can't,
well listen, if you was back in Hollywood, they all was doing it. So
I
if you're gonna
can't.
shun one, you better shun them all.
I can only shun the ones that I know of. And that's it. I can only shun the ones that I know of. And I can't get down with somebody who's doing that. And that's why I say it's hard to separate the art from the artist because you can watch something, you can appreciate it, but it's hard to like I can't get down with like I like before R. Kelly, I liked his music. I mean, to be honest, I still like some of his music, but to know that he's peeing on a 14-year-old little girl, I can't get down with him. I can no longer get down with the artist. And so
All right.
that's how I feel about Paul Mooney. Paul Mooney had great commentary and said great things. And it's important when you're speaking truth to power to keep your nose clean because otherwise they will take that and they will destroy everything that you said as as truth. They'll just destroy it and allow themselves to continue to do the terrible stuff that they do. So you have to be careful. If you're going to speak truth to power, you need to keep your nose clean.
I
So,
agree. I totally agree. I totally agree. But you
and
gotta realize that people that was in those circles was in those circles.
now
And if you gonna
I will
shun
say this.
one, you gonna shun them all.
I will say this. I was never a big fan of Steve Harvey. In fact, I just never liked Steve Harvey, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, when I was coming up, I was in LA and he worked at a radio station. He replaced one of these morning show DJs. And he used to hate hip hop. He went on there. I don't know why they hired him, but they hired him on a hip hop station. He hated hip hop. He was constantly dogging hip hop artists, constantly talking ish about him. And finally, it was so bad. I mean, people complained and complained and complained. Finally, he moved on. But I stopped listening to that station. I didn't like him, but because of that, I was like, you're just dissing black men. Instead of trying to uplift and be an agent of change, you're just dissing them and causing problems. Plus I just never thought he was that funny because with me and when I was introduced to stand-up comedy, I was introduced with like my old heads introduced me to like Richard Pryor and Red Fox. And then as my own person listening to comedy, that's when Eddie Murphy was still doing stand-up. And you can't go from Eddie Murphy to Steve Harvey. You just can't. two different universes all together. I mean, it's not even like listening to. I mean, in fact, I remember going to a Kings of Comedy show at a theater in Philly. I had tickets, went there, I took a date there, and she kind of got mad at me because I fell asleep. We were up in the little, private booth. I fell asleep. She was like, if you didn't want to go on a date with me, I was like, I'm sorry, it's not you. I just don't find any of this funny. It's boring to me. It's like there's nothing in there that's making me ha. I know, I just never found, and I always found it ironic that these people who call themselves the Kings of Comedy were probably some of the least funny comedians out at the time. The only one
minus Bernie.
Bernie was cool, but I mean, yeah, there were some things about Bernie Mac that I liked, but I still didn't find him the funniest. I found some things about D.L. Hughley sort of funny because I liked some of his political commentary, but I think D.L. Hughley is much better. I've read a number of his books, and I think he's much better as sort of a comedic author, doing social commentary than he is as a stand-up comedian. But
sounds good to me. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got one more clip of Katt, but before we do that clip, let us bring in our final guest, ladies and gentlemen, on CPT time for my Anglo-Saxons. That's called colored people time. It is the new homeowner with the flirking name, Monique. How you doing, Monique? Rhymes with unique.
My man, I'm so sorry I'm late. I don't like to be late on your channel. I was trying to run to the pharmacy to get my prescriptions and stuff. They took longer than expected. But I'm here and I'm thankful to be here. So, hi, Larry. This is my first time meeting you, Larry. So it's a privilege. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
I know, it's our first time on.
Hi, Moochie Mooch.
Hi.
But I've been listening. I have my phone playing in the background. I've been listening to y'all, and I must say I do enjoy the dialogue. I've agreed with most of y'all's points. Hopefully, I can give my little input a little bit later. But yeah, it's been a good show thus far. So let's keep it going.
Now, for those of you who don't know, when we first met Monique Nicole, she was very green about a lot of things that go on in Hollywood. And I kind of took her under my wing to let her know that when Hulk Hogan told y'all that if you want to get 24-inch pythons, all you got to do is say your prayers, eat your vitamins, and you shall be that. I told her that's a fucking lie. That is and at first, Monique used to fight me on these things.
When he said vitamins, did he mean testosterone?
No, he didn't tell you about that part, Larry. No, he didn't tell you about that part.
Gotcha.
And through the events, no, he didn't tell you about that. And through the events of what's been going on in the world, Monique Nicole has started to understand what Lamont was trying to tell her so that no one takes advantage of her too. And so, Monique, we're going to show the last clip of Katt, and then you get the first dibs on that, and then we'll shut down and move on to the next subject. Here we go.
Because the people want to know, why would he get blackballed?
Yeah,
because in 30 years, I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets. So if you and a man was in a corner doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing...
You will tell it?
No, somebody come to tell me.
Okay.
I gather that, I value that, I'll pay for that. Come, tell me. I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know it. They all know it. Why? Because you don't make me the villain. Not the guy that raises black children and ain't never done a hard drug in his life and don't have no stories of doing nobody dirty. And they'll just go out and they'll lie. The industry doesn't mess with Katt because he didn't show up for the studio. No studios have ever said that. Look at my IMDb. It will show you that no studio has ever lost money with me on the script. They're far too much work for somebody to come years later and try to tag along just for their own self-aggrandizement.
Why didn't Cube set the record straight? Terry Crews could have set the record straight. Mike Epps could have set the record straight. Why none of them set the record straight?
That's what you were supposed to ask him when he told you those lies that no one's ever heard. Right, but he's telling you something no one's ever heard of. Nobody has ever heard, oh, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon was in a movie, and somebody said, y'all should switch roles. Like, this is a business.
But that's the thing, Katt. Normally when people are giving you information, I'm thinking I'm hearing it for the first time, and they're giving information no one else knows or have ever heard. So I'm taking them at face value.
These are this is like Steve Harvey telling people he used to be homeless. That's my story. That's not his story. Steve Harvey wasn't never homeless. When Mark Curry was touring with him 25 years ago, he was making $3,000 a show in cash and doing 5 shows a week. They just tell the stories. Thanks to my wife, I'm where I am. You said that about the first wife. You forget that? You told us it was her. Then you went and married somebody else that think like a man. Like, what are you talking about? They think they can rewrite history.
Monique, let me say this, and then the floor is yours. Now, y'all know I can go toe to toe in a one-on-one joking battle with just about anybody. But I can tell you right now, I ain't gonna never wake up on the wrong side of the bed and try to go against Katt. Monique, the floor is yours.
What the hell do I say? That was so much. Okay. Let me start by saying this. Okay. Disclaimer. I am a fan of Katt Williams.
Okay.
I'm also a fan of Steve Harvey.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm also a fan of Kevin Hart.
Nothing wrong with that.
One of my biggest pet peeves in life is, listen, you don't have to like a person, right? But one of my biggest pet peeves is don't discredit someone. So for me, I don't like when people discredit other people. Whether you like them or not, you can't take away from their talent, their success, their work ethic, etc. I like Steve Harvey and I like Kevin Hart. Period. Hard stop. I believe everything that Katt Williams is saying. You know what I'm saying? I two things can be true at the same time. And I mean, listen, I don't know what's going on with Katt. I don't know if this is his year. He just said, you know what, I'm sick of being quiet. But he came with vengeance. I mean, he laid it all out. And a lot of what he said is believable. You know what I mean? And it makes you kind of question certain things in the industry and things like that. Now the whole like so-and-so's not funny, so-and-so's not funny. To me, it's all subjective. There's different types of comedy that appeals to different types of people.
It's artwork. It's artwork.
It is what it is.
Artwork appeals to different people.
Exactly. So for me, I'm not judging anything that y'all have said, but for me, I don't like when people say, oh, so-and-so's not funny. Eddie Murphy's not funny. Chris Rock is not funny. Kevin Hart's not funny. I just think it's all subjective. He's not funny to you, but he's funny to someone. I just feel like you can't take away from someone's talent. But, you know, look, I rocks with Katt Williams. I always have. I've always wanted to see him on top. And I respect that he has stayed true to himself in an industry in which most people fold. You have to respect that. You have to respect that he said, no, I'm not doing this. I don't agree with that. Take that out the script. You're not taking out the script. I ain't going to do it. Sorry. Do you know how hard it is to pass up on some money as a Black actor in Hollywood, to pass up on some money?
Well, here's the thing.
That's morals, that's values, and a lot of people lose that in that industry. So I have nothing but respect for Katt Williams, honestly.
Now, Monique, here's one thing I will say regarding Katt and versus actors.
Okay.
One thing you have to be going into Hollywood is multifaceted, or can I say multi-talented? The more multifaceted you are, the less susceptible you are to have to take bullshit from people. Now, Katt didn't have to take some of those roles because he is a talented comedian, and whether they pay him or not, he's still going to get paid to go on tour. The problem is a budding new actor, if all you do is act, you either going to do what they tell you to do or you're gonna keep starving. Having said that, I'll give you a chance to rebuttal, and Larry's next.
Me rebuttal.
Yeah.
I don't really have a rebuttal. Can I ask y'all a question though, based on something that Katt said? And I think I know what y'all are gonna say. Do y'all believe him with the theory that Kevin Hart was an industry plant? Can you see it? What do you think?
Say that again.
Do you agree with Katt Williams' statement that Kevin Hart was an industry plant in Hollywood?
I don't know what he means by that.
Basically, the powers that be plucked Kevin Hart and said, you know what, we're going to make you the next big thing, and basically laid a red carpet platform for him to have his success.
I mean, that happens with a lot of places. A lot of
people
are different. I mean, there's certain young kids that get plucked out, and they're going to say they're going to be the next big, child actor. This person's going to be the next big whatever. I think people find folks that they think have all the elements to do something, and they're like, we're going to foster their career. I mean, it used to be that way at everywhere. I mean, it didn't used to be that was a phenomenon. They used to actually have artists in development. They used to have actual people that developed artists.
Facts.
And if you look back at the early days of like So Def Records, they had a house where they lived, where their artists lived in, and they all developed themselves.
Yes.
Artists, and they used to do that the same thing in the studio system in Hollywood. They used to develop their actors and actresses, and they may be in 5 or 10 movies before they actually had their breakout role. They don't anymore. Now they expect people to come and spend their own money, taking their own acting classes, and work their butt off and come fully formed. And so, I mean, to say that he's a plant, it just sounded to me like someone said he has the work ethic, he has the looks, he has everything that we need to make him a star. So let's invest.
I like that you said that, Larry. I really yeah.
Right.
Go ahead, Lamont.
100%. No, I'm just saying what Larry said is 100% true, and you guys are going to hear me say this all the time. It's not just Hollywood; it's pretty much any industry, And you can in some cases call that a form of nepotism. Go ahead, Moochie.
Can I? Oh, go ahead.
Only thing they have changed now is that they use social media to pick their people better now.
100%.
So if they see somebody has a good following, like I don't know how they made this girl famous, Sexy Red, because it seemed like they scraped the bottom of the barrel to get somebody like her. They don't have etiquette school for these artists. So now you're getting the most raunchiest people that come on here and they're influencing our younger people, which somebody like that should not have a platform to be influencing people up into the thousands. When you're promoting lip gloss that's STDs, the flavors of STDs. So you're not even showing kids how to protect themselves. They just going rampant. But back in the day, in the 90s, they did have etiquette school for these artists to show them how to talk to the media, to show them how to carry themselves. They don't do that anymore. And you have these people just running amok, doing stuff that you don't want your children to do. But what happens when they see it? It's everywhere.
It's crazy. They don't have the same artists in development anymore. I'm telling you, all these new artists need to go to the Matthew Knowles training school. When I tell you what Matthew Knowles did, take away how you feel about him, Beyonce, that's his shot. Take away what you feel. What he did for those children is similar to, and again, controversial person, Joe Jackson.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he trained those girls, Beyonce's work ethic and professionalism is because of her father. The way they would even interview, you can go pull up clips from 1998. You never caught them slipping, not in one time. But you look at Britney Spears people, and they had that poor girl at 18 answering questions if she was a damn virgin.
Yeah.
It's about who you're trained, who's on your team, and these kids now, these young artists now, is like, it's despicable.
Monique, here's the problem with that. is that like people talk about Joe Jackson and Matthew Knowles and I forgot the guy's name that started it, New Edition, who
Yeah.
and the other
Maurice
guy.
Law.
There was another white dude who ran, I think it was NSYNC and some other bands.
Yep.
But the problem is that you have to take children and impose upon them an adult work ethic.
Yes.
And children are not generally designed by nature to have an adult work ethic. And so when you impose it on them, oftentimes what you end up with is an abusive situation. Now, they end up being great artists and they end up being, growing up and being really great and integrating into the adult world as they become adults if they're not drugged out as a consequence of their abuse. But they also have to carry the trauma of being abused all those years. And a lot of people are like, that's just simply not right. And so I know that I think these artists, they need the labels and the studios need to take the time and the effort and the money to invest in young artists. They just don't want to do it anymore because everybody's worried about fast returns, and it's cheaper to find people that are already fully formed, whether they're fully formed because they spent the time and energy and effort to do it themselves or because they're just naturally gifted or whatever. It's cheaper to find people that are ready to go from jump than it is to actually develop the artist.
All right, Moochie,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Larry.
I did want to say one last thing about the whole thing with Katt Williams and Shannon Sharpe. There was something that was interesting that he said. When Katt Williams said that was the question you were supposed to ask him. That's the problem when you have someone like Shannon Sharpe doing these types of interviews, is that he's not a trained reporter. He's not a trained journalist. He's someone who was an athlete. And so as a consequence became a commentator and then found, other places for himself on TV. And now he's doing his podcast, which is highly entertaining, but he has access because of who he is, not necessarily what he is. And because of that, he's not Barbara Walters, he's not Oprah Winfrey. He's not one of these other fantastic reporters who they know that when someone says something, immediately their bells are going off like, oh, I have 5 follow-up questions. I'm going to get in on this particular question. Instead, what he did was he lets people come on, say things, and then he moves on to the next subject. He doesn't follow up on them. And
Larry, I hear you.
I
do hear you, Larry. I do hear you. My only thing with that specific situation, and I think what's the man's name?
Shannon Sharpe.
Shannon Sharpe was trying to defend himself in that moment. He's like, look, the guy is telling his story. Shannon doesn't have the information to then challenge what Ricky Smiley was saying. Only someone who knows behind the scenes information could say, wait a second, that's not how the story, for him, all he can do is take what the person's telling him. He's thinking this is firsthand information, hot off the press, first time being exposed in an interview type of thing. He didn't really know to challenge what Ricky Smiley was saying. Only someone with knowledge, behind the scene knowledge, could have done that. In my opinion.
I have to disagree with you. Only because having worked as a journalist for a number of years, and granted, I'm a photographer, but I'm not asking the questions, but I have sat next to and sat behind filming and shooting photos of really talented, experienced journalists, and they can walk into a situation where they know not the entire picture. And they're asking the questions to flush out the entire picture. And when someone gives them a bit of information, part of their job is to ask more questions, to expound on that. Give me more information about what you said. And if someone says something controversial, you jump on that and you ask more questions to figure out if what they're saying really makes sense or if they're just talking a bunch of hogwash. And I think that's one of the problems when you don't have someone who is an experienced journalist. Shannon Sharpe has been on TV for a long time. He's comfortable, but he's not an actual journalist. And I think he would be well served to actually spend some time honing those skills. I don't think it's something he can't do. It's just something that he needs to take the time to learn how to do. It's like Lamont's a writer. He's taking acting classes. So when an actor comes to him and says, hey, This doesn't make sense to me. He has a place of understanding to know where this actors come from. You have to know your craft. If you're going to be in this position, you have to know the craft.
Okay. Moochie, you get the last word.
I was going to say this. If as far as the parents, they all had good work ethics. And even Serena and Venus' father, he let them know, look, you're not going to ask her that question, or you're not going to talk to her to make her feel this way. They show interviews with that. So it all goes with the parents. Now, if your parents is dropping you off and just letting Hollywood take care of you, y'all seen the results.
Exactly.
You have to be a helicopter mom or some type of man to be feared with, where they not going to mess with your kid if you are bringing up a child in Hollywood.
I agree.
Now, as far as the questions with Shannon Sharpe and Katt Williams, maybe he didn't know those things, but you supposed to have people on your team to be like, this is the reason why they got this kind of beef. This is the reason why he has so much animosity, because back in 19 so-and-so, blah, blah, blah happened. So he got to have more people that's digging through facts and stuff like that. Otherwise, I thought the interview was good. We're talking about it here today.
Yeah.
So he uncovered some good things. And now it's people responding. You got Ricky Smiley rebuttaling stuff in the shade room. So I want to see where this is going.
Yeah.
So now you being exposed and pulled out as a liar. Now you're going to backpedal and drop it like it's hot to tell your story that you're not. I was getting ready to say pee popping, but I don't want to say it. But anyway, they're all getting called out for their things. They all blackballed this dude, but at the end of the day, let's go do comedy. I'll bust all y'all asses. And Katt letting them know.
But you can't blacklist Katt Williams, because before Katt Williams was even doing Hollywood movies, he already had a cult following. People love him.
I agree with you. That's why I said the statement. Come to the stage and do your routine, and I bet you I'll dust all y'all. And Katt let them know.
I mean, let
them know you can't compete with me out here on the stage doing comedy. That's why you're doing this. Everything he said was right. Even Bernie Mac said that Steve Harvey went into the Ocean's 11 thing, wondering why he wasn't casted for that role and Bernie Mac was. So all of his stuff he's saying is facts to it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we want to hear from you guys. Shout out to early morning people checking me out. We've got 135 people before noon. Oh, and I know y'all ain't having no drinks. We appreciate it. And what we're gonna do, because for what Katt Williams said, we need to hear rebuttals. Because a lot of people have come out with rebuttals. Michael Blackston came out with a rebuttal.
Yep.
Cedric the Entertainer has come out. We're waiting on Steve and Fat Liar Faison Love. We gotta hear what he's gonna have to say. So
Kevin Hart threw a little shade, subliminal shade too. I peeped it earlier.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if I get the time on Saturday to do a Black News show number 12, I'll come back with the rebuttals. If not, we'll follow up on Tuesday.